TNT still undefeated in this all-Filipino conference for the PBA. Mikey Williams stepping up for their team, Jason Castro and RR Pogoy. Of course, the new coach in Chot Reyes, the system allows the players to flourish. Talking about these weapons, Jason Castro with his consistent leadership, RR Pogoy stepping up in this PBA resumption. And the rookie, Mikey Williams, in the first games, he was still not 100% since he was still under quarantine for a while, and now that PBA pause for 1 month probably, got him in rhythm, and now we can see the true potential of this rookie.
Carlo, you agree with that in terms of the names that he mentioned? And really, what's going on with TNT? Why are they so good?
For sure, I agree with everything that Diego said. All of those players that he mentioned, especially Mikey Williams, stepped up in the resumption of the PBA Philippine Cup sa Pampanga. No? But more than anything, the team concept, the defense has been what dictated their success so far. Kasi if you look at it, especially in that matchup against the Magnolia Hotshots from Bansang Manok, you would think that it would be Magnolia with Coach Tito Victorero and all of those defensive-minded players who would, lock down the opposing squad, would lock down the high-scoring TNT Tropang Giga. But it was actually the other way around. It was the defense of TNT that won them that ball game. Of course, there were spurts where their offense really looked good with Kelly Williams making 3-point shots at the buzzer. But the defense, the mentality of TNT is what really changed. You can see it when Kelly Williams chases loose balls, everyone else has to chase loose balls because you don't have an excuse when one of the veterans, one of the former MVPs in the squad, multi-decorated, multi-championship winning player, if he is on the floor, then all of the younger players must also dive for loose balls like him.
We're looking at the numbers right now. Mikey Williams, R. Pogoy, and Jason Castro in terms of scoring. You brought up the point of defense, Carlo, but I'm going to ask Diego right now. Look, we're talking a lot about defense, and I think that is one of the big factors why they are doing so well. But offensively, grabe yung mga numbers in Mikey Williams in general. Do you think that we're seeing the full potential of Mikey Williams already, or is there another level he can get to?
Thanks. Well, I think there's still going to be another level that Mikey Williams will get to, of course. He's still getting used to the system of Coach Chot Reyes. But in the games, like past 2 games, you can see that he has the confidence to go one-on-one against these players. We all know that Coach Chot Reyes likes to go dribble drive and give space to the ball handler. And we would see that in Mikey Williams. We saw his bag in that last game. We can see probably more of those moves in the next coming games.
Now let's move on to the next team that we're going to talk about here. I'm going to go ahead and just say it. Terrafirma have been incredible in the past few games, and a lot of it has been down to the hot shooting of the man that they used to call, or you can still call him that right now, Magic Chongson in Wami Chongson. And Carlo, I know that you don't want me to use the Clay Chongson nickname, so I won't. But tell us what is happening with Terrafirma and what is he doing in terms of Chongson shooting that it's lifting them up into the next level, Carlo?
I think it's all about having confidence. As Coach John Adel Cardel said, nung dumating na yung kumpiyansa ni Wami Chongson, everyone's confidence was elevated as well. For a team that has been struggling just to make it to the playoffs, like the Terrafirma G, it is important to start believing. And when Wami Chongson, when he made a statement in that game in the fourth quarters, specifically against the San Miguel Beermen, dun na naniwala yung buong Terrafirma na, teka, kaya natin to. I mean, even without Roosevelt Adams, even without Joshua Munson, when Wami Chongson caught fire, then they started believing, then they started playing well, and looking out for each other's best interest. Para sa akin, yung panalo nila against Blackwater was just as important as their wins against Ginebra and the San Miguel Beermen, for the simple fact that Wami Chongson did not score 30 points, di ba? Hindi siya umabot dun sa career highs that he was set in back-to-back games, but other players stepped up for him. Zelda played well, Aldred Ramos, Eric Camson continued to play well, Matt Ganuelas Rosser has been outstanding in the role na meron siya dito sa Terrafirma ngayon. So that win against Blackwater, I felt it could have been a trap game coming off 2 big wins, but they were able to perform well in that fourth quarter kasi may tiwala na eh. And you can just see how they're all pulling out for each other. They're not settling for the first available shots. Instead, they're trusting their offense. They trust that if they move, if they find the opening, papasahan sila ng teammates nila. And that's the beauty of it right now. Even if you take Wami Chongson out, with box and one defense, other people can step up. And now, mas mahihirapan na yung mga nagbabantay dito sa Terrafirma kung magpo-focus na lang ba sila kay Wami Chongson because everyone else is confident right now.
Well, absolutely. Magic Chongson, Clay Chongson, sorry, I really have to throw that in, Carlo.
Stop using
Yeah,
it. You know,
okay. So
stop using
we're
it,
moving on to another team, this time who lost their main guy in Kiefer Ravena. The NLEX Road Warriors still producing good numbers, still doing well, and a lot of that is down to the other guys on the team, Kevin Alas, Jericho Cruz, and Diego. When you look at this team, what stands out for you?
And you mentioned there's no Kiefer, but it's still no problem for NLEX. They're undefeated in this PBA resumption, 2-0. But a lot of players stepping up in the absence of Kiefer Ravena. And sinabi nga yun ni Coach Yang Yao that there's no one person that can actually fill in the shoes for Kiefer. So a lot of players stepping up for them. Kevin Alas, Jericho Cruz, JR Kenyan, and in that first game in the PBA resumption, even Kenneth Ighalo stepping up. So that's a welcome sight for the NLEX Road Warriors.
Carlo, again, no Kiefer, no problem. That's what's been said over and over again. And do you feel that this is a team just growing in confidence because of the performances of the guys that Diego mentioned?
For sure. And the other thing is, if there is a team in the PBA that can overcome the loss of a superstar, I would bet on a Coach Yang Yao coach team because balance yung minuto niya. Even if Kiefer is undoubtedly talented, there will be times that he will not be playing in the best stretches of the game because Coach Yang would want to play Panyamogan or Ighalo for that matter. Binabalanse talaga ni Coach Yang yung rotation niya. So any player that he pulls out of the bench and inserts into the starting lineup will have some level of confidence because they know that they have a coach that believes in them and that will give them an opportunity to shine. Another thing is that JR Kenyan has been so impressive in their two games. No, he is yung calming factor when everything is getting rattled. Pag nagkakaran yung kalaban, you just give it to JR Kenyan. You allow him to create from the mid range. He shoots at a very efficient clip. And then Raul Soyud comes back and performs well. He's coming off an injury. Sabi ni Coach Sheng, he was not yet supposed to come back, but he wanted to test out his ankle to see kung kaya na niya. And he performed well against the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Master. So I don't think that NLEX ever lost confidence in the sense that they always believed in their system, believed in what Coach Yang Yao wants for their team. Of course, it's not the same when you don't have Kiefer Ravena, but so far, they've been pulling out the stops because people have been stepping up.
Absolutely. And again, Carlo, thank you very much for joining us.